particular, Dogri, the book that she was mentioning, I've read that also. It has got an English translation too. That's also very beautiful. If you ever get an opportunity, read a few lines. So he said, you can share any one of the sonnets. These are the English sonnets I think you all have read. So, to say to read your best one is a difficult thing. I think all of them are very beautiful. All of them have their own meaning, their own relevance. But I think particularly one that I really liked. Some method is essential for success and meaningful and organized work. The scattered and disorganized mess which life is made of often goes berserk. And we all quietly take it in our stride to destinations unspecified. In justification, look at scattered stars or wobbling poisonous planet that is Mars. And listen to the sages with mistrust who tell us with its stars, planets, suns, the universe with certain method runs. Some method in this madness is a must. The nesting bird, the bee in the hive, with certain method toils and survives. So beautiful. Method in the madness. One thing is there. What really appealed me was the method in madness, and a lot of his poems have been also inspired by William Shakespeare. This quite applies to me. I keep finding my own method every day. I think now I just celebrated my 50th birthday, and when I plan my day, I have to take out some method. Sometimes when my son tells me, Mama, I will different plan how to do it. Every day he has a new calendar, a new plan of action, a new method. But then when a thing gets delivered, you have to keep changing your method. So everything that works towards certain.
Even in the scatting of stars, there is a method.
Yeah, that's what he says,
Who
tells us with its stars, planets, suns, the universe with certain method runs. Some method in the madness is a must. Life has to have a method. So you may not see it, but there has to be certain flow in that madness.
I feel a lot of our life also goes into finding that method that works for us.
Your life is complete finding that method, But that madness will remain throughout.
Yes, actually there's another sonnet of his that I really like. It's called Raging Quietly. I will read it out first. Behold the peasant toiling in the dirt, the cowherd herding cows in the meadows, the coolie perspiring in his shirt, unseemly espying every shadow, the humiliated wife or daughter-in-law, with every vestige of her ego crushed. Behold neglected daughter or unhonored squaw, behold reviled, beaten, pushed. They smile at your sequestered ivory towers. But if you see them closely for a while, you notice that behind the tattered covers, there is a cyclone raging in the smile. A heap of dynamite behind this ruse stands waiting for someone to light the fuse.
Beautiful.
The reason I like this sonnet is simply because a lot of people suffer in silence. Every single person, somewhere in their life, I believe that they suffer in silence. And everyone talks about their journey, how they suffered in silence, and then how they came out of it. But there's a transition period where they are quietly suffering, but they're also building up that courage to fight back. No one talks about that. I feel more people should talk about how they,
They came out.
How they got the courage to do it. What exactly made them do it. I feel like inspiration in life, or that that light that gives you that power to move forward in life. I really strongly believe everyone should fight back. So I could really relate.
I really like this line, there's a cyclone raging in the smile. Like, it so aptly tells you how we are hiding all that stress, that that sadness behind a smile, and still you are having that thing, that rage inside you. You want to you are fighting with it, but at the same time, you are faking it onto people that, okay, I'm happy, I'm smiling. So this is a very beautiful line. I like this a lot.
So many poems and river, but this is also so beautiful with the same thing but with a different perspective.
The imagery of the poem.
Imagery, yes, absolutely. Imagery is very beautiful.
So there is another sonnet of his that I want to share with you guys because I really think that it's beautiful and something that was my personal favorite out of all of the things that I've read. The topic is Leave Me to Myself, and the sonnet goes, I am out for nothing, you may think. My actions are ill-reasoned and ill-thought. My aimless life is hurtling to the brink of nothingness. Believe me, it is not. I am out for not yet thought of things, like how to carry water in a sieve, like how to tap the elfin sap of dreams, like how to learn to laugh or learn to grieve. But if you find it hard so, believe, the choice is yours. I, for one, would even say so much as by your leave, that you may let me think it can be done. For you are welcome to your own belief, but leave me to my fun or to my grief. The reason that this one was particularly my favorite is because this actually talks a bit about independence and the will to choose the way you want to go in life. Like because a lot of times when you talk about poems or when you see a lot of literature things, especially written about nature and all of that, a lot of them just preach that be happy, be happy. But the end of this sonnet particularly was very refreshing because he's actually talking about that leave me to my fun or to my grief. Like, that I am allowed to feel what I feel rather than, someone having to just say, very happy, that be happy. That's not really, the end sentence of the end sentence of every sonnet or every poem, how it should go. I think it's very modern in the sense that it's written. Like it moves away a little bit from the rest of the sonnets that he has written, and he talks about the choice in life that we have, but a lot of times we don't understand that we have that choice, that that even your hardships are your own, even your happiness is your own. So basically the point here is realizing that the life that you live is your own. So the choices that you make and the mistakes that you make and the happiness that you get, all of it is a full complete package, and you don't really get one without the other because that is really how the spectrum works. So that's something, in life that you really need to understand. And also it is, a very good remark to everyone who actually tells you how to live your life or how you should go about, in your life, because this shows that, whatever you do, you own it. If you're happy, if you're sad, if you're struggling, and all of this is you. Every single part of your journey made you the person that you are. So you are allowed to, be proud of the journey that you've lived or the person that you've become. And that's what makes you a unique individual, as to say.
In this poem, something very parallel to Method in Madness.
Exactly. I want to point that out.
Because you never know, there is a method in that.
It's about believing in someone, that you believe in me, I will be able to do it.
And let me do it my way.
Yeah.
You might not find it the right way.
The right way.
Interesting, but that's how I do it. It is like it's me and it's my life. Don't mess with it.
That's exactly how it is. She's really actually. So she's right. This is like so ahead of its time. And
I like to think most of them are very preachy,
And also it talks about perception, like how perceptions can differ, but just because it does not make sense to you, that does not mean it also does not make sense to me.
So, I mean, if you actually keep reading the sonnets, there are endless sonnets. You would like to read each of them.
And all of them together feel like, you're
can
going up a
parallel,
staircase. Yeah,
there is a link between all the sonnets.
Like you read the first one, then you go to the next one, and then you read all of them, and you realize that you've moved to the...
I think a balanced theme. I think you must have written or seen life so closely to have written such words of wisdom, and what I call it sonnets.